This is CHSR 97.9 FM here in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. This is Python's Paradise, your film and music show. And folks, this is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena. And folks, I have my first set of twins on the line with me today. And we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of Single White Female. And at the time, we had two young twins at the beginning of it who are not so young now. 25 years later, they're absolutely gorgeous. I'm talking about Tiffany and Krystle Mataras. How do you do, ladies?
Hi. Great. Thank you so much for the great introduction.
You're most welcome. Wow. Yeah, you're my first twins I haven't on here now. It's kind of cool because I've looked up stuff on you two online. It's really cool that you two still interact and do stuff together. What is that like?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I mean, we enjoy the same things, and we always have. So, it just makes sense to us, and it works out because a lot of people see us as pairs. So when one isn't talking to them or one isn't in something, they want to see both. Yeah. So it just works out. We just like spending time together.
Well, that's fantastic, Yeah, I was wondering if I could just get a little bit of your background before we dive into the films. Give us a little bit about your background.
Sure. We were born in Athens, Greece. We came to Los Angeles when we were 2. And then somebody that was working with our mother just said, "Oh, you should get him into the business." So we interviewed for an agent, and initially she threw out our pictures, and she said, "They're never going to work. They're too shy. We were, I think, around 3 years old or so. But luckily she happened to come across an audition for a commercial, and she said, let me just send them out because I don't have a set of twins. So she sent us out, and we booked it. And then we booked another commercial 2 weeks later, and then we just kept booking. So that's how we got into it.
Now, my brother's girlfriend is a twin. And of course, she's a little bit older than her twin because I guess she came out first. Now, which one of you is slightly older than the other?
We were a cesarean, but you could say that Krystle was maybe 2 minutes. I was in the world 2 minutes longer than Tiffany.
Okay.
That's actually the most common question we get asked. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's the number one question.
Oh, well, I know talking to you on Facebook, I guess you've done an interview in Canada before, so I guess you like the experience here with Canada.
Yeah, Canadians are very nice. Yeah, we just had a girl set up some social media stuff for us, and we just love your vibe in Canada. It's a laid-back vibe, so it's kind of closer to Californians because Californians are kind of laid back too, although Canadians, I think, are sweeter. It was very cordial, and it was a harmonious experience. Yeah, a really relaxing experience.
You ever been in the New Brunswick, Canada area where I am?
We have no, but we've been dying to. So we're going to have to plan a trip there soon. Yeah. It's definitely on our map. Yeah.
Well, we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of Single White Female. Now, I know in 1992, all the buzz was around Basic Instinct. And, Basic Instinct's got its fan base. I wasn't too keen on the ending of Basic Instinct. But I got to say, Single White Female, I thought, was a little more sophisticated. I love the psychological elements of it. And I got to admit, I won't give the ending away, but I think the ending, to me, was a lot more satisfying with where Bridget Fonda was versus where Jennifer Jason Leigh was, especially in Fonda's mindset of the whole thing of where, she had to come to terms with things that she could not change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It seemed to me, I mean, we were young at the time, but it seemed to us that it was kind of the first noticeable, kind of like a twist. You know, that whole twist where you totally don't see things coming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of one of the first films to do that kind of a twist.
And
where
they kept the screenplay. They kept it pretty private.
Yeah.
We didn't even have the whole script. So when we went to see and the premiere was the first time we actually got to see the whole movie. And the funny thing is we were very young, probably not the age that we should have been seeing that movie. But nobody said anything. So when we walked into the movie, we walked in, the director said, "Hey girls, oh, you're gonna love it. Oh, you sit down, watch." We sat and we watched the movie.
All throughout, our dad was trying to cover our eyes because there were some pretty racy parts. It was very, violent. There was some violence.
Nudity, sex scenes, we saw it all because there was no way our parents could reach our eyes to cover it in time.
Yeah.
So then when the lights went on and the movie was over, you see Barbet Schroeder, the director, his face dropped because he realized, oh my God, these girls are young, and why didn't I warn them?
Nobody warned them.
So, but I was shocked even at that small age. I was really into it because it was an amazing story.
It was. To me, one of the iconic scenes is when I always remember it when she shoved the stiletto heel in his eye.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to tell you who, but
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, I can't believe that you got to the premiere of that. I mean, I know that both Bridget Fonda and Jennifer. Actually, there was even some male nudity in that.
It was hardcore nudity.
Yeah.
It was more racy than I ever expected.
yeah, our parents were floored too. And again, we didn't have a copy of the script, so we had no way of knowing that it was that bad. I knew it was a thriller, and I knew somewhat of the storyline because when we filmed it, we had to know, but we had no idea. And our parents, God bless them, they could not cover our eyes. They were sitting next to us, but that's okay.
They were pretty lax after that with movies a little bit because we saw the worst. I mean, that was pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, you know something though is that the movie. Barbet Schroeder, of course, directing the movie. I was a little surprised at a little oversight like that. How red did he turn? Like, how can you make that mistake?
He was profusely apologizing to our parents after.
Yeah.
He felt so bad.
Everybody was. I felt bad for them because they felt so bad, but
they're used to working with adults, and that's part of it. We were the only kids in the whole film, so they didn't anticipate it, and it was an oversight. They were just excited to show us the film, so I really don't blame them. And our parents couldn't be too angry, but we definitely did have a talk with our parents that night.
Oh, yeah. You know what it reminds me of? When I was, I'm going to be 45 this year, and I remember whenever I was just a young teenager, and, I was not into girls, and, I was into guy things, and I got baited into, and I've shared this story before with other guests, I got baited by my cousins into watching Friday the 13th Part 2. And there was like 2 or 3 kill scenes on the screen, but it was a scene where an actress trouses naked into the lake. My mom came in and turned the television off. And it was the first time I'd seen nudity, especially female nudity in a film.
Mom. Yeah, I think that was the first time we saw any kind of male nudity.
yeah.
So, female nudity, you're kind of more used to it being, kids. But that was
nothing else.
Yeah. You remember that, don't you? That's burned into your psyche, right?
Oh, yeah. Well,
I always remember the first time.
Yeah. So I imagine that was an interesting conversation around the supper table.
It was. Our dad just went home and went to bed, and our mom talked to us, but he dealt with it the next day.
Yeah.
Oh,
did your mom talk to you? Yeah.
Oh, he couldn't get away from it.
No, he was embarrassed because he wouldn't. I mean, he was. Our daddy's the type where he doesn't like to talk about those things. It's embarrassing for him. He's an old school Greek army guy, so. Even now. So it was very embarrassing. He just avoided it. He turned bright red and then he avoided it. He tried to cover our eyes a couple times, and then our mother gave up. Our mother took care of it.
Yeah.
That's funny. Of course, at the beginning of the film, of course, this is where we see the two of you sitting in front of a mirror One is, of course, doing the, you're playing a little makeup game, doing the, do you two still do that?
We do. We share the mirror when we put on our makeup. But the funny thing about that is the reason why Barbet Schroeder, the director, hired us for this role is because we discovered through him that we were identical mirror twins. Yeah, he saw that he asked us a question, and he asked us to raise our hands to answer the question. And he noticed I raised my left hand, and then Krystle raised her right hand. Yeah, and this was in the interview. And he said, he said, that's interesting. He said, you both are, one's left-handed, the other one's right? We said, yeah. And after we got booked for the job, he told our mother, he said, well, yeah, he said part of the reason why I hired them is because they're identical mirror twins, meaning, when they look at each other, it's a rare form of twins where it's like they're looking in a mirror. So we're a mirror image of each other.
I'm left-handed, so which one of you is left-handed?
Tiffany.
Tiffany's left-handed. Okay. Wow, I never actually even heard of that before, so this is all new for me. I never heard of mirror identical twins before.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we noticed, after he told us this, I noticed I always had kind of a freckle on my left cheek, and Krystle always had it on her right cheek.
Okay.
So we started to find these little clues, yeah. And it made us realize we are a mirror image, actually. Yeah. But that was an interesting thing to learn on the interview. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, single white. Huh?
Oh yeah, no. So that's why the opening scene was the mirror. So I guess that's what made him think, oh, they're mirror twins. They're going to be in a mirror, so let me get them.
So what was it like working with Barbet Schroeder? I think this is one of the best films that he's done.
He was a very soft-spoken, surprisingly, but very nice man. Very patient, very kind. He was really great at directing. He would tell you exactly in a way that you knew exactly what to do. He was not a take maniac, so he wouldn't make you take a ton of takes, which some directors do. And he never lost his cool. No, he was very calm, and that's a rarity when you're dealing with successful directors. Is usually sometimes they have a short fuse, and sometimes they're really aggressive. You're just scared to death. You want to do the right thing, but he definitely knows what he wants, and he's a very intelligent man too. Like I said, even the mirror twins thing, we learned a lot of other tidbits from him. He picked up things really fast. Do
you two enjoy shooting that scene?
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, and again, Barbet was great because in between takes, when they're setting up the camera, he would talk to us and he would tell us different things. He would talk to us about the film. We just got to, be ourselves and just be, two girls just playing with makeup. Girls don't like to do that. Mm-hmm.
Well, it was an endearing scene. One's doing the other's makeup, and then kisses one on the cheek. And then they kind of look at the camera. Of course, they're looking in the mirror, and then of course we eventually find out the tragedy of the film. And I was just curious, do you have a favorite scene in the movie besides your scene?
I'm trying to think. I still think the stiletto scene was pretty.
That was brutal, wasn't it?
I never saw. Yeah, I wasn't happy about it, but it's pretty nice. I gotta give him kudos for shock factor. But yeah, I think the beginning scenes where she's sort of starting a new life, mm-hmm. and just getting it together with Jennifer Jason Leigh before Jennifer Jason Leigh, really when she's putting the ad out, she's just trying to, she gets in her new place and she's getting, her life together. I don't know, those are, seem to me, the most poignant scenes that stick out. And I think it sets up the movie very nicely because it gives a light, airy feel to the movie at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And then, it sets up the turn, so when the turn does come, it's quite dramatic. I don't know, I just thought the movie overall built up really well.
I agree.
Yeah.
My favorite scene in the movie, and I have to be careful how I say this, because it can be taken totally out of concept because of perverted minds out there. But I'm going to bring this up because I thought the suspense here was just riveting, and I love the scene where they're going up to Graham Knox's apartment because they have to get they have to shelter away from everybody. And Jennifer Jason Leigh's got the gun to Bridget Fonda's back. And then it cuts, that nice shot of the apartment building, very Rosemary's Baby-like, I find. And then you hear Jennifer Jason Leigh's voice. She goes, I'm so glad I don't have to go around looking like you anymore, or something like that. And he goes, Allie, don't laugh. And then she goes, ta-da! And then all this time you're not seeing Bridget Fonda. And then it shows a shot of Bridget Fonda, who's bound and gagged to a chair. And then from there, she goes and she leaves. And she makes, of course, a mistake, but it's a mistake that you can kind of buy. She leaves her with the television, and she's got the remote control. And, of course, Bridget Fonda's character, being Allie Jones, being smart, she's like, I like it when she flips through the channels. It's like, she got a little movement in her fingers there so she can flip through the channels. And she gets to, of course, a music station, of course, turns that up full value. And, of course, when Jennifer Jason Leigh gets back, she's immobilized. She can't do anything. And there's this moment when she goes to the other room and you just hear her scream and she hits something, and I got that great close-up of just Bridget Fonda's eyes. It's like, what the hell am I going to do? She's immobilized. She can't speak, and you see it all in her eyes. And then Jennifer comes out there with that knife, and she slowly presses it, and you can see it pressing to her Bridget's throat. And Bridget, of course, tries to moan through the gag or the tape over her mouth. And finally, Jennifer rips the tape off. She goes, "What?" And she does the one thing that saves her ass. And she moves her mouth up forward, and you can see the close-up of the knife blades on her neck, and she kisses her cheek.
Yeah, that was pretty twisted.
I thought that was great, and Jennifer just kind of breaks down there, and you see Bridget's foot kind of kicking that wallet away. She's all the time thinking, despite the fact that she's immobilized. I had to explain that carefully because I didn't want people think, he likes an S&M scene. No, that's
no.
That's,
it was really
one of the most popular scenes in the movie.
It is, yeah. And she was smart. It was really a smart thriller.
And of course, the elevator fight.
Oh, that was you know what? Actually, I think that might be my favorite scene in the movie. I think it's the elevator fight.
Well, again, you see Allie Jones being smart because she is losing that fight, and she's being choked out, and she passes out. But again, I won't give out the ending of the movie, but again, it's where brains come over brawn. And she had to outsmart Hetty. She had to outsmart her. And again, that was where everything took place, in that boiler room there. And she knew she wasn't going to outpower Hetty at all. So I thought all of that was beautifully suspenseful. I loved every moment of that third act.
Yeah. Well, it's difficult not to pick a favorite scene that doesn't have some kind of violence, suspense, or sex linked to it. So don't feel so bad about the choices.
Yeah, but no, it was just done in a great way. It was just a really good psychological thriller.
Yeah,
it really was.
A true psychological thriller.
Yeah, and then the twist at the end where, I don't know.
Don't give it away.
No.
I shouldn't give away in case people want to see the movie, but you know what? There might just be fans watching.
But
that's
right.
right.
The twist in the end where you find out in the end what really happened.
Yep, absolutely.
It's just
and why she is the way she is. Yeah. You almost feel bad for her though when you do find out what happened.
Even
why she.
Yeah, even with Allie's reaction with the monologue at the end, it's almost like a forgiveness going on there. Even though Hetty was, she did some pretty heinous stuff, including, the disappearance of a key character. So, she did some pretty heinous things, including go up and seduce her boyfriend. Of course, the boyfriend was a louse anyway, but still. Jennifer Jason Leigh, loved her in this movie. I've been a fan of her since Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which of course she did 10 years prior. So that film's celebrating its 35th anniversary this year. And Jennifer finally, a couple of years ago, got an Oscar nomination for The Hateful Eight. About time they acknowledged her. I know you, at the beginning, you two were kind of in your own scene, but did you have any interactions with Jennifer Jason Leigh and Bridget Fonda, who I also am a big fan of as well?
Yeah, because we used to see them to ride to the caravan to set together.
And then we also saw them in the makeup trailer. And Jennifer Jason Leigh was really soft-spoken and sweet.
I can understand why it took so long for them to recognize her, because she's not an in-your-face type of person. She's very humble, and she keeps to herself, but she's
not in a rude way. She
Yeah.
doesn't keep to herself in a rude way. It's just a very sweet, genuine
she's
feeling.
more of an introvert.
Yeah.
And she observes everything. So,
and then
and Bridget Fonda, sorry, excuse me. She's chatty.
Yeah, she's chatty, but again, she's really sweet and humble.
And intelligent. I think she fit that character well, that part.
I remember her being chatty and very witty when she was talking. We would hear them talking to the makeup artists as they were doing their makeup in the film.
And the great thing about both of them is, even though we were young when we were on set, they never spoke down to us. Or the baby talk. Oh, how are you girls? They talk down to you because you're a kid. It was pretty much, we had normal conversations with them. So
they talked to us like adults.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why they had that oversight with thinking that, it wasn't appropriate we'd see the film, because they thought of us as adults.
What were their reactions to the premiere whenever? Did they say anything?
You know what? They didn't even want to go up to us.
Yeah.
The only one that did that was Barbet Schroeder. Everybody was avoiding us.
Yes, everybody was kind of just tippy-toeing around. Like, they didn't want to go up to us. They didn't want to say anything. They were embarrassed.
They thought our parents were going to be livid.
Yeah.
Our parents rolled with it. So
we were okay. It was okay.
Yeah, really great people.
They both seemed really sweet.
Well, for Jennifer Jason Leigh, do you have any other films of hers that you really, really liked her in?
Oh, God. Jennifer Jason Leigh.
She's got a lot.
I mean, man.
I mean, she even directed Anniversary Party as well. I mean, she's very innovative.
She did a great job on that. I mean, The Hateful Eight is good, but I don't think that was.
I think she should have gotten an Oscar way before that.
Yeah.
I agree. I would agree with you 100%. She should have gotten,
Yeah. And I think she should have gotten more recognition. I mean, even both of them should have gotten a little more recognition for Single White Female.
Yep.
I think it was just, it's just amazing roles for them. And, when we met Jennifer Jason Leigh, it's such a stretch, because when you meet her, she's so soft-spoken and she seemed really introverted and sweet. So, I mean, for her to do that, that role as like a psycho.
She was really acting.
It shows her chops. It's so far from what you see in reality. So, I couldn't pin down even a handful of what she's done. I mean, just everything she's done is great.
And of course, Bridget.
I personally, I like Single White Female. I like her in that.
Yeah.
But that's my personal favorite.
And of course, Bridget Fonda, of course, went on to do Jackie Brown, which is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. And very underrated, because you see Bridget Fonda so together in Single White Female, and then you see her in Jackie Brown playing a complete opposite.
Oh, yeah. No, she has a wide range too. I mean, they're both just they were both really talented actresses,
and which it shows in the chemistry.
Yeah, they don't really. I mean, I don't want to say this, but they don't really make actors like that as much anymore nowadays.
No, they don't.
Can have a wide range like that. You see a lot of the actors that are the same character in every single movie, it seems.
Yep.
Different variations of themselves. That's what makes these ladies such a standout.
Yeah. No, I love this movie, and I think especially the look of the film. Did you meet any of the other actors from the film? I know like Peter Friedman, Stephen Webb, Stephen Tobolowsky. They were all had some standout performances in it.
No, I wish we did. Yeah, we didn't meet them. I think was it Stephen? We met Stephen at the premiere, but very briefly, just shook hands and that was it. He seems really nice.
How
Yeah,
red?
I wish we had a chance.
How red was he in the face?
Oh, he was pretty. Yeah, I mean, they were all just kind of like, smiling, kind of tight grin.
Nobody wanted to.
Nobody wanted to open up that can of worms.
Well,
But yeah, he seems nice.
Well, Single White Female is fantastic. I'm glad you two had a great experience making that. But it's interesting because when I looked you up, it's like there was other movies that you were in. I wasn't aware that you were in them, but yet when I found out you were in them, I knew exactly who you were. We're going to go back a couple of years from Single White Female and talk a little bit about Kindergarten Cop. And before I called you two, I was watching a clip of Arnold Schwarzenegger and who's your daddy and what does he do? And of course, what was your response?
Our mom says that our dad is a real sex machine.
And Arnold's response to that, I'm sitting there thinking, those are the same girls that were in Single White Female. Holy cow. I gotta ask, what was your dad's reaction to that?
Well, Ivan Reitman, who directed it, we were set to say some other lines. There were like two other lines we had to say, and that morning they came up with that line. And so Ivan Reitman actually asked our parents' permission before we did it.
He didn't give him too much notice, so they just really had to say yes or no in the moment. So they just said yes. Our parents were okay with it. They were like, okay, fine. Yeah, and we did it. But you have to understand, this was in the 90s, so people weren't as privy to what's appropriate for certain ages. The 80s and 90s was kind of a free-for-all. It was pretty
It was okay.
back, yeah.
But yeah, it was funny.
But we didn't know what we were talking about when we said it. Let's just put it that way.
So your dad wasn't like, oh yeah, say it.
No, again, he just stayed quiet and we let our mom do the work. He was embarrassed.
But yeah, we didn't even notice what we were saying.
I mean, I'm sure, you know what, thinking back on,
What are we saying? Our mom says our dad's real. I mean, I guess dads wouldn't be too,
offended by that, right?
No, of course not. It's a guy thing. Oh, I thought that was... Yeah, what was it like working with Ivan Reitman?
He was great. Yeah, he was really fun. He was a fun guy. He had fun with the kids, and again, he was really good with children too. Yeah.
Well, he worked with Bill Murray, so of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really laid back. He was a little bit of the opposite of Barbet Schroeder, where he seemed more extroverted.
Yeah. He had a bit more. Yeah, he was more extroverted. He had more animation. He was a bit more animated, but he wasn't over the top, and he didn't have a horrible ego either. Yeah. I never remember him losing his temper or, yelling at anybody, at least not much. And he was always really nice.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, actually, his son, Jason Reitman, hung out a lot on set. Jason Reitman and his daughter, too.
Yeah.
They both hung out a lot on set, and they had little,
quite a bit.
Yeah, and they had little cameos in the film as well.
Yeah, Jason Reitman went on to be a really fantastic film director, doing Up in the Air, Thank You for Smoking, and Juno, and all kinds of stuff. He's really carved out quite a career for himself.
Yeah, and we're happy about that because he was a really nice kid. Yeah. They're just down-to-earth kids. Did not seem like...
They weren't pretentious at all.
Not at all.
I didn't want to not hang out with the crew or the cast.
Yeah.
Just one of the teammates. So.
Yeah. They weren't spoiled at all.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that was an experience.
Yeah, that was a great experience. It was our first movie. So it
Your
was kind
first
of a-
movie, and you got to work with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And of course, we look at that poster, and he's got one of you picked up in the air, and the other one hanging off his leg or something. What was it like working with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
It was a lot of fun, actually. He
Yeah.
was a trickster. He was a bit of a trickster. He'd play pranks on the mothers.
Okay.
They used to have a camera set up so that the mothers were at a different location, but the camera was set up so they could watch the kids when they were filming. So he had to like adjust something in his on his belt, and he knew one of the mothers had a crush on him. So he was adjusting something on his belt, and he did it in a way where he didn't take anything. He did it in front of the camera, and he didn't take anything off. It wasn't like that. He didn't do it in a crass way, but he just kind of acted. No, he unbuckled his button, and he acted like he was going to do more, but he didn't. So it was like, and then of course everybody knew that he knew that they were, looking, and they were laughing. It was just a big joke. But when we got back to the trailers, we heard the mothers, screaming like as if they were in a strip club, Yeah. Yeah, they said for a while, the mothers were like, take it off, come on. And then, so he wanted to give them a little excitement, a little something to watch. He was a fun guy. I mean, he wasn't mean. Yeah, and he had a lot of patience for working with so many kids. I mean, there were 30 kids on that set. It was an animal house sometimes. Yeah. But he also had just became a parent at that time. I think he did. He was, yeah. He was playing with, but he was a nice guy. I mean, we were lucky because for it being the first movie and to have A-list people in it, everybody was really nice. Yeah, they were really nice.
It's interesting too because Arnold, in the '80s, he had done Conan the Barbarian, he did the Terminator, and Commando, and then he kind of things got lighter for him when he did Twins with Danny DeVito, and I think that is kind of what led to Kindergarten Cop, a little more lighthearted fare, and kind of broadened Schwarzenegger's audience quite a lot.
It did. It was. We have people come up to us all the time that say, "Yeah, that was the first time that I actually became a fan of his." Yeah, it's a classic film. People watch it, and it's also popular with kids. Yeah, they still watch it even today, which is surprising. New generations are seeing it on USA. It plays all the time. Yeah. So I wish he would have stuck more with some of those. I liked that side of him.
And of course, other people that was in the film, Penelope Ann Miller and Pamela Reed. Did you two have any interactions with them?
Oh yeah, all the time. Penelope Ann Miller was just so sweet. Yeah, she's a really nice lady, calm, but polite, well-read, and she was always prepared with the material. Penelope was really great too. She was very lighthearted. Penelope? Oh, no, I'm sorry, Pamela. She was really lighthearted. Pamela was a lot of fun. She was animated. Mm-hmm. She was lighthearted. She was nice. She gave kids kind of wisdom. She dropped some gems of wisdom there with the kids, and she was patient as well. Yeah, they were all helping everybody, and especially all of the kids, learn how to work in this environment. And they gave a lot of tips, which was great and helpful.
Of course, she's good with a baseball bat, Pamela Reed.
Yeah. She knows how to swing it. She loved that bat, too. She was swinging that thing all around set. She couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah. No, Kindergarten Cop, definitely a notable film in your career. And I can't remember the guy. Who was it? Was it Richard? I hate to... Was it Richard Tyson that played the villain? Okay. I didn't want to get his name wrong. And of course, I bet you're both going to say he's the nicest guy in the world. I mean, we've just been very lucky. Everybody's been really sweet. He was polite. We hadn't talked to him too much. Yeah. We more so spent, of course, we had more scenes with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Pamela Reed and Penelope Ann Miller. So we didn't get to know too much of Richard Tyson. He kept to himself a lot. Well, he was the villain, so probably that was
Yeah, but I mean, my big sister, what I know about him is my big sister had the hugest crush on him. So she's older than us, so of course, whenever we had scenes that were had to do with him, she was on set. She wanted to come, and she got a picture with him, so she was happy. He was nice about that. And we did run into him again when we were, later on when we were about 20. 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years later, 20 years later, maybe 15 years later.
15 years later, yeah, we ran into
him again. He was nice. So, yeah.
Cool.
It
Well,
was interesting.
another film you did, of course, was Problem Child 2. I was just wondering, are you two still in the lemonade stand business?
No, we are not.
You're not selling lemonade to Michael Oliver anymore, are you?
No, although, I mean, I think maybe we should, sue Mike's Hard Lemonade because I think we have some copyright issues there. But yeah, no, that was a great shoot too. John Ritter was, oh my God, so thoughtful.
Yeah.
Now I know you're annoyed because we keep saying everybody's nice, but John Ritter was a special kind of nice.
Yeah. He was the type where if he saw you shivering a little bit, he would stop the take and say, hey, wait, somebody get them a jacket first, warm them up, and then we'll do another take.
Yeah.
So he was really a hands-on, a father type.
Yeah. I mean, we weren't even in the scene with him, and he
Yeah.
was just watching. And he would have the director, oh, hey, get them a blanket. Oh, are they okay? Make sure he doesn't spit too much lemonade on them. Because there was actually one variation of the scene where the guy actually spit the lemonade on us.
Oh.
Yeah, we were wet.
We were soaked by the end.
It was Florida, so it wasn't that bad. We dried up pretty quick.
But yeah, that was fun. And we actually did a reunion.
Mm-hmm.
We showed up for a reunion a little bit
Snackle,
for
yeah.
Problem Child 2.
Okay.
And we met Michael Oliver again, and we met John Ritter's wife, actually, Amy Ritter. We met her again. We met Brian Levant from that movie,
Okay, yeah.
director and producer.
So yeah, it was really great seeing everybody again. But
No,
that was it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And Michael is a problem child.
We got to meet Marcia Quinn.
Yeah.
We were so excited.
Okay.
MTV.
Do you remember Marcia Quinn from MTV?
I remember the name, yes.
She's a big personality on MTV, and my big sister used to watch MTV 24/7 back when it was good and they showed music videos. But Marcia Quinn was such a big personality on it. We were so excited to meet her.
I actually have one of the original MTV VJs on here back in March. I had Nina Blackwood on here, and
Oh my God.
yeah, we were celebrating the 35th anniversary of the movie Vice Squad, which she did in 1982, and it was a very hardcore thriller. And she meets a nasty end in it. But we talked about that, and we talked about her days as an MTV VJ as well. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, Problem Child 2. I've heard good things about John Ritter. I know you're saying nice things about people. I've had people come on here and trash talk people before, so you don't have to trash talk people, but I've had people do that. But yeah, but I've heard John Ritter is a great guy. I've heard that about him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, we couldn't find anything bad to say about him. I mean, he was just so nice.
Mm-hmm.
It was just caring, just thoughtful, caring, great guy.
Yeah. Now, if you wanted to talk about Camp Nowhere, I got a lot of dish on that.
Oh, we're going to get to Camp Nowhere in just a minute, but
okay, are we?
yeah. But I am going to say, of course, it's sad John Ritter's gone. Of course, his last movie, Bad Santa, he did a great job in that. Amy Asback, now Amy Ritter, still pushing his charity, which I think is great. And Michael Oliver, what's Michael Oliver doing now? Do you know?
I believe he works in
I think
computer
he works
field.
in tech too.
The tech
Last
field.
I had heard, he was doing stage setup for concerts and music.
Does he
Yeah,
blow
works in
stuff
the tech
up?
field. I'm sorry?
Does he blow stuff up?
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if pyrotechnics was his thing. But no, he what? He was always like that as a kid. He liked tech geeky stuff.
Okay.
So I wasn't surprised at all.
Yeah.
Is he still hanging out with the bow tie killer?
No, he has. He's got a lot of ninja swords, though.
Oh, wow.
I tell Michael, you gotta watch it there. You collecting those ninja swords. But, no, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
He's being Michael. He's a nice guy.
You get to interact any with Jack Warden. Of course, he's no longer with us, but very polarizing presence on screen.
Oh, he was hilarious. That guy was old school. Yeah. He was funny. I mean, the way he is on screen was not too far from how he was in real life. Yeah. I got, what you want to say is almost like a Fred Mertz vibe from him sometimes.
Okay.
He had a very... he's a character. Yeah. He's very witty. It's exactly the same way you see him on screen. He was in real life. Just very witty. I mean, he wasn't a drunk. I don't know.
No.
Was he drunk in the movie?
It's been so long since I've seen it.
I don't remember. Yeah. But he was just very funny. Yeah, I mean, just very witty. He's not the one that's going to perk up every morning and say, hey, good morning, how are you doing, you know? Yeah. We're like, yeah, get out of here, let me get my coffee first. Yeah.
Of course, one last person to mention from that film, Gilbert Godfrey.
Oh, boy. Yeah, we could hear him talking from the trailer outside. Yeah, we could hear that. But we never met him. Yeah, we'd see him around, but we never had any...
But you could hear him.
We knew he was there. We just didn't know where. Oh, yeah. He was competing. There were some ducks in the lake that he was competing with. Yeah. I mean, you could hear him from a mile away.
Oh, he is so funny.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But they never seemed to... I'm trying to think if anybody clashed. Nobody really clashed heads, really. On that set, no. Yeah. No, it worked pretty cohesively. Yeah.
Well, let's dish on Camp Nowhere. Let's talk about that. I guess you had some issues, huh?
Oh, boy. Well, I mean, you think about it. You get a bunch of prepubescent and adolescent and teenagers together, and you're going to have you're going to have a wild ride on that set. A lot of backstage drama. Yeah. We were the youngest, I think, among the youngest on that set. Yeah. So we were just basically the girls that everybody used to confide in. We were the confessional. Yeah, so we wouldn't really gossip or tell anybody. And we didn't really get involved. You know, we were younger. We weren't interested in the whole, I have a crush on him and he has a crush on her, but he's going with her. And, oh, my God, she came out of his trailer. And, oh, my God, I'm supposed to be dating him. So the interesting story about Camp Nowhere was there was two people that were hired, one boy. Mm-hmm. And his job was to make out with a girl the whole movie. That's all his job was. He was going to be making out. So when he booked the part, they asked him, they said, is there any girl that you know at school or something, or maybe you have a girlfriend that you'd be comfortable with making out with the whole movie? So he brought this girl on set. So the girl in question, I'm not going to mention her name, but she went and she was, doing throughout the whole movie, but about halfway through the film, she started to date one of the other guys that's in the movie. They weren't dating, they were crushing on each other, flirting, Yeah. So after a while, she didn't want to kiss her current partner anymore, even though it was just on, for the movie. She didn't want to do it anymore. And he started to complain, too, because he's like, she doesn't want to kiss me. So they had to replace her, and the replacement for her was Jessica Alba. Yeah. So that's how Jessica Alba came in to talk to her. So they replaced her halfway through, and, they basically got 3 models. They got a modeling agency. They said, give us 3 models that are willing to make out with somebody throughout the whole film. So they sent Jessica Alba was one of them, and then the boy picked which one he wanted, and it was Jessica Alba. That's from what we heard. But, so Jessica Alba, it was her first film. Yeah. I
gotta say, the girl that refused him, boy, is she ever shot down now, because look at Jessica Alba now.
Yeah, it looked out for Jessica Alba, because, it was the launching pad for her career. Yeah, and she wasn't really, I don't think she was really in acting at the time. She was mainly modeling. She was modeling, yeah. She wasn't part of SAG or anything. So, yeah, it was quite an experience. But, again, you had, like I said, you had kids ranging from 11 years old to 18 years old. And, everything in between. He was 17 was the oldest. 17 maybe, yeah. So there was a lot of drama. Yeah. Hormones raging and things going on. But it was a lot of fun. We filmed that on the Disney Ranch, and it's this big piece of property that they have there. And Christopher Lloyd was such a cool guy. And when I say cool, I mean laid back in a tie-dye shirt and maybe some Rick Tolley jeans. And he just, quiet, calm as can be on set. I mean, amazing. Very different from the person that you see on camera. Yeah.
Very different guy.
Yeah. And then we also got to meet Burgess Meredith.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
he did. He was actually he played the guy that had the camp.
Yeah.
He leased the camp,
Okay.
but he was so spry and he had so much energy for being as old. I mean, I think even back then, I think he was in his 80s.
But I mean,
But yeah, he had so much energy. He outdid everybody. I mean, all the kids.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, we had this scene that we had to do, and we filmed. It took us like 7 hours to do it. By the end, all the kids were dead, and Burgess Meredith had so much energy.
He kept
Oh,
going.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
Burgess.
lot like he was in Grumpy Old Men.
yeah.
He was in one of my favorite movies growing up, and still one of my favorite movies. He played Ammon in the original Clash of the Titans, and
Oh, wow.
I love that film. And of course, he was in that. Well, it's interesting. He had all that energy, and you'd think the kids would have outdid him, but I guess not.
No.
No, the director was like, "Hey, come on now, he's ready to go, and you're all slacking here."
Yeah. He was definitely a Rocky on set. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, he was sort of like his character on Rocky.
Yeah.
He's a go-getter.
Come on, go do it. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah, it was last minute. But what people don't know is that we actually did work on Jack and Jill, Adam Sandler's movie Jack and Jill.
Are you ashamed of that?
No, we weren't in it. We weren't
Yeah.
in it. We contributed to some of the stories. You'll see throughout the film there's some stories.
You know what? If they were smart, they would have replaced Adam Sandler with you two.
Oh, thank you so much.
No offense to Adam Sandler. I loved him in Punch Drunk Love. I've liked him in various comedies. But Jack and Jill was not a high mark for him.
Yeah. It was an insane budget, but yeah, it was not. No. And it was you could tell because the director, Dennis, was it Dugan? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was stressed out.
The guy seemed stressed. We didn't work too much on it. I mean, we mainly just did
some post-production.
Stuff on that. But it was a tough film. I think afterwards they were editing it. They took a while post-production to try to make it right.
They changed some of the story. I mean, when we had heard about it, it was going to be an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes, and then it topped 2 hours, over 2 hours.
Yeah, so there were some changes in there, but it was a good experience. Adam Sandler is actually a sweetheart.
Yeah,
I know I
heard
say
it,
that
yeah.
about everybody,
Yeah.
but he was really a sweetheart.
Yeah.
So
It was hard for me to. It's hard for me to say anything bad about anything Adam Sandler does, but
No. So what are you two doing now? Like, what are you two involved with now?
now, we're entrepreneurs. We do a bunch of things actually. We're entrepreneurs. We own a catering business. We don't do much acting. We mainly just go out, and there aren't really many twin roles, but we mainly just go out for twins. If there's some kind of, significant twin role, then maybe we'll audition. But it's not very often. We kind of
Okay.
stuck to the twin thing.
Okay. Do you have like any charities you're involved in?
Yeah, we have. Well, we've done work for Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Okay.
We've done work for the St. Bernard Project with our business. We've done work for PETA
Okay.
animals. So yeah, we help we do various charity work. We own a dessert company, Wasted Desserts. So we make alcoholic desserts. We created it actually.
You make alcohol with desserts?
Yeah, we created a company that in 2011.
Around the time we did.
It was around the time we worked on Jack and Jill, I think. So we created a company, and Krystle basically got injured. She got an injury to her face. She looks fine now, but she got an injury to her face, and so she couldn't, she had some downtime. So we created just a dessert company just to keep her busy meanwhile.
Okay.
And it kind of took off, and so we keep it up, and it's a lot of fun. We actually did some work we actually did cupcakes for Amy Yazbek.
Okay.
Party. She had a birthday party a couple of years ago, and we did some cupcakes for her.
Okay. So you two like to cook, huh?
We do, yeah. That's one of our talents. Krystle's an artist.
Okay.
She sells her artwork here in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
And we stay in the arts pretty much. But we took time off to go to college. So initially, when we took time off, SAG had gone. They had a strike. Yeah. So we couldn't work. So it actually worked out for us. But
we went to college. We did our thing.
Went to college. We did our thing, and now we're just entrepreneurs.
Wow. And you got like a web page that people can contact you on and check out your stuff?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, well, you can look us up on Instagram. We're on Instagram, Tiffany _Krystle, Krystle.
Okay.
And then we have our Krystle Carrington. Yeah, that's the way you spell Krystle. And then we have our Facebook page. Of course, you know that.
Yeah.
We have people who've been asking us about a blog. Yeah, I don't know. People are trying to get us to go on YouTube. I don't know if I want to do that, but we might start doing videos on YouTube. We'll see. But yeah, so and then we have a Snapchat too. Double TKO is our Snapchat, so people can contact us on there.
Okay. Wow. I do gotta ask this though. I have to. I would love to get an autographed picture of the two of you. Is there any way I can go about that?
Sure. Oh God, yeah. Just send us send us your address.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, what were you gonna say, Krystle? Yeah, you could just send us your address and we'll send it right out to you. Yeah. Of course.
Because I gotta say, you two are absolutely gorgeous. Like,
Oh, thank you so much.
I was like, you two. Time was really good to both of you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, well, we stayed away from the drugs.
Well, yeah, a lot of child stars have that problem.
They do. Yeah, we were really lucky. Yeah, and it's not surprising that they do have that problem, just because even with Camp Nowhere, you're invited to a lot of parties, and at these nightclubs here in Los Angeles, they'll make exceptions, so they'll let an 11-year-old sometimes into a nightclub. So it's difficult, but our parents did a good job of keeping us away from that scene. So yeah, we lucked out. And there's my mom, she's looked pretty good for her age, so.
Out of all your movies, did your parents have a favorite?
I think probably Kindergarten Cop. Yeah, Kindergarten Cop was probably the fondest memory for them, and they got a little part in it too. When they did the they had the fair. Yeah,
Okay.
where they said the Gettysburg Address. They said they were all dressed up 7 years ago. They were all dressed up like Abe Lincoln, and they were outdoors. My parents were behind Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you could see them clapping in the movie, so they were really happy about that. Yeah, and it was a great experience too, because we got to fly to Oregon, and it was done on and they enjoyed themselves. I would say that's probably their favorite.
Okay. Well, what's coming up in the future? What can we look forward to the Mataras twins?
Oh, well, we're working on producing, actually.
Okay.
So hopefully, yeah. And so I don't want to say, we can't really say, but hopefully, it'll work out. Keep our fingers crossed. It's such a hard field to break into. So, but we're working on that. So we'll hopefully, if everything works out right, you'll be the first to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're working towards that, towards writing and producing.
Yeah.
And we're still in as twins, so you might see us pop up somewhere. You never know.
Yeah.
Yes, we want to see you pop up.
Yeah. We love acting. It's a great field. But we love acting as twins. I think that's always been our favorite. So whenever there's something for twins, we want to go out on it. We want in on it. So you never know. So yeah, we'll see. You never know where we'll pop up.
Well, we're coming about towards the end of our time, but I'm going to say what an honor it was to have the two of you on here, Tiffany and Krystle Mataras on here, celebrating, of course, the 25th anniversary of Single White Female, which I think is a very underrated thriller. And, Kindergarten Cop and Camp Nowhere, you've done your fair share of notable films. made your mark, and hopefully we'll continue to see you make more marks here in the future.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You've been really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And this has been fun.
Yeah.
A nice trip down memory lane. Just another positive experience with Canada. Okay.
Well, we try to keep it that. With the political situation right now, I think most of you are coming over here.
Yeah. Has anybody really moved to Canada?
I think I know of someone in the industry who did. I won't give that person's name out, but
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, they've been you guys have been very welcoming.
Oh yeah. But
Yeah, we're gonna need it.
but before I let you go, I was wondering if I could have the two of you do a plug for my show.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just state your name and say you're listening to my show's called Python's Paradise. Python like the snake. So say you're listening to Python's Paradise with Greg Gilbert, and I'm out of New Brunswick, Canada.
Okay.
You got all that?
Okay, so Python's Paradise with Greg Gilbert out of New Brunswick, Canada?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
You gonna do it at the same time?
Yeah, we'll do it at the same time.
Okay, go.
I'm Tiffany. And I'm Krystle. And you're listening to Python's Paradise with Greg Gilbert out of New Brunswick, Canada.
Thank you so much, girls, for coming on here. And like I said, you got any projects down the road in the future, don't hesitate to let me know. And, I could have you come back on here and promote them.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. Well, thank you so much for such a great experience and for reaching out to us. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. It really has.
It has. And I'll connect with you on Facebook and stay connected.
Oh, that sounds perfect. Yeah, that sounds perfect. We'd like to. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, God bless you both, and thank you so much.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.